Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by Jack Threads.
Today on Variant, I review the Avengers vs X-Men storyline and give you a fun fact you can use to pick up the ladies. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than Kel loves orange soda. I'm your host, Arris. As most of you guys know, the Avengers vs X-Men storyline just wrapped up a little over a week ago, and since I've only been talking about this title since the very first episode of Variant, I figured I'd give you my thoughts on it and talk about the suckage or awesomeness it may or may not have been. And roll bumper. The Avengers vs X-Men, or AVX as most people call it, just wrapped up about 2 weeks ago. It was pretty much the biggest event Marvel had going this summer as far as their comics go. Now, for those of you who didn't read it or have no idea what the storyline is about, allow me to explain. In a nutshell, Captain America and Iron Man find this huge energy signature heading for Earth, and alas, they find out it's the returning of the Phoenix, which is one of the strongest forces in existence. We then find out that Cyclops wants Hope Summers to merge with the Phoenix when it returns, because he thinks with her having the Phoenix's powers, she can save the mutant race, as there's only like a couple hundred or so of them left, due to the Scarlet Witch wishing like 90% of the mutants away in the House of M storyline. But that's a whole other topic, and I'm not going to touch on that right now. Anyway, Captain America and the rest of the Avengers are all like, no, we're bringing her into custody, because the last time a mutant merged with the Phoenix, she kind of almost, how you say, destroyed the world. So we're going to take her with us. Okay, Cupcake? But of course, the leader of the X-Men, Cyclops, doesn't give her up, which forces Cap in the Avengers' hand. And boom, Avengers vs X-Men. Now warning, from this point on I may mention some spoilers, so fast forward around a minute or so if you don't want anything to be spoiled. For those of you who don't care or have already read this, let's get into it. As far as my opinion goes with the storyline and or title, I gotta say I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I thought the first 6 issues were super strong and was loving it. But after that, it started to fall off a little bit for me. Not that it was bad or anything, but it went from awesome to just good, I thought. And that's mainly only because it got a little bit predictable. I did like how the Phoenix didn't merge with Hope. Instead, it merged with Cyclops, Emma Frost, Colossus, Namor, and Magic, and they formed the Phoenix Five. It was awesome to see 5 X-Men being the Phoenix all at the same time, especially Colossus and Cyclops. They looked freaking sick. One of my favorite things about the storyline is how they mess with your emotions a lot. First, you disagree with the X-Men, at least I did. I know some people were on their side from the beginning though, but then once they got their Phoenix powers, you're all like, okay, maybe they will make the world better, and the Avengers should just leave them alone. And then towards the end of the second act, you're like, okay, maybe they're not gonna make the world better. I really love that when writers of comics or movies can play with your emotions throughout the story. In my opinion, it makes the whole experience more entertaining. My 2 favorite characters from the storyline though are Wolverine and Spider-Man. I thought they used Wolverine really well in this comic. Wolverine is basically always awesome, but in this comic, he's especially awesome. He is on the side of the Avengers, but at the beginning, he not only wants to take her away from the X-Men, he wants to kill her, because he says hiding her isn't gonna do anything, because if she's still alive, the Phoenix will get to her no matter where she is. Hope does later convince him to trust her and that she can control the Phoenix, but that doesn't turn out so well, and that's how we got the Phoenix Five. And Spider-Man, well, he's just always awesome, not to mention hilarious. Issue 9 really highlights him, and you really see how much of a hero he is. And I love no matter how intense or serious the situation is, he still has his sense of humor. And Issue 9 is a perfect example of this, and shows yet again why he's one of my top 2 favorite superheroes. The ending of this comic isn't super amazing, but at the same time, it's very satisfying. It does a good job at tying in and setting up for the Marvel Now Uncanny Avengers title. Also, towards the end of this title, one of the most important members of the Marvel Universe dies. Now, I'm not gonna say who, because I don't wanna spoil that much for you guys, but dead. It also ties in and gives us some conclusions with the Scarlet Witch and the House of M storyline back from 2005. Lastly, I do want to mention the fight scenes in this are awesome. I mean, artists John Romita Jr., Adam Kubert, Oliver Coipel did a great job, and writers Brian Michael Bendis, Ed Brubaker, and so on also did a great job. Summary though, overall it was a good read, not amazing, but worth reading for sure, and definitely had a satisfying ending. Jack Threads has quickly become the online shopping destination for dudes, and here's why. Everything on the site is up to 80% off, because full price, well, that's just for suckers. They serve up killer contemporary and street apparel, accessories, and gadgets from brands like Converse, Penguin, and Busted Tees. Shopping is stupid simple, and all styles are curated so buyer's remorse just doesn't happen. And as a viewer of Variant, you can skip the membership waitlist to get the instant access at jackthreads.com/variant. Did you know Stan Lee originally wanted to call the X-Men the Mutants? But when he went to his publisher at the time, he got turned down, as his publisher said no one will know what the heck a mutant is. So after thinking of a new name, he realized they all had extra power, and he wanted to call their leader Professor Xavier, so he figured why not call them the X-Men? So Stan went with that name to the publisher, and he said that's fine, which is funny, because if people won't know what a mutant is, how the heck are they supposed to know what an X-Man is? Either way, that's how the X-Men got their name, so like I said earlier, you can now use this little fun fact to impress the ladies. Okay, who am I kidding? That'll probably never work, even if the girl is into comics. But on the bright side, you are smarter now, and knowledge is power. First up for this Wednesday, October 17th is Catwoman issue 13. I wonder who that can be behind Catwoman on the cover. Interested? Now we have Venom issue 26. Stranded on an alien world, Scarlet Spider and Venom must work together to defeat Carnage. Here we have The Walking Dead issue 103. With The Walking Dead season 3 just kicking off this last Sunday night, interests are going to be perked for this. So I definitely recommend this. Plus, now Rick is no longer in charge in the comics. This title just keeps getting more interesting. Now we have The Rocketeer Cargo of Doom issue 3. I haven't read anything from this 4-part miniseries, but I'm gonna buy the run because from the looks of it, it looks awesome. I really love the 50s noir feel to The Rocketeer. It's just great. And finally, we have BPRD 1948 issue 1. This comic has aspects of pulp, horror, action, historical fiction. Not to mention, it is written by Hellboy creator Mike Mignola. Definitely something you need to check out. Well, that's it for today on Variant, but you guys know the dealio by now. Leave your comments and thoughts down here. And if you feel so inclined, be sure to like the video and subscribe. The more the merrier, I always say. I actually don't ever say that. But yes, you could also like our Variant Facebook page and follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Arris_Quinones. But I will be back on your computer, smartphone, iPad, tablet, or TV next week when I talk about, well, I really don't know what I'm going to talk about. But I'm going to talk about something. You bet your balls I'm going to talk about something. Maybe this time we can get through it. We can get through it. We can do it. We can get through it. We can do it and get through it, and to do it, we get through it.